Bienvenidos a Esperanzavence, donde la EsperanzaVence. Welcome to EsperanzaVence, where hope wins. I'm over here chilling. I'm doing the batch recording because, thanks to you all, I'm serious. Y'all have made me busy enough that I have to record videos ahead of time, which that is a blessing. That is an absolute blessing. And, I just sort of came to the realization that we have a lot of family coming into town. Not this week, but next week. So a week from now. And it's like, well, I may or may not have the time and the space to kind of do this. Like, those of you who have been on my channel for a long time, thank you so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, telling your friends, and for following this work that I've been doing here for a couple years on YouTube. But you guys know, I'll do a reading anywhere with anyone. I'll be in public. I've done readings here where there's a pool full of kids and stuff is splashing on my computer and everything else. Usually I use the iPad out here because that's a little bit more, I don't mind if it gets wet. It's fine. But, my laptop, I'm more careful about. But today, everybody's at work and the kids are elsewhere, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna ask my sister if I could come over here. I have some water weights. I'm gonna do some exercises and try to get my blood pumping. I'm trying to get a better handle on my health, How are you? What are you up to? I know Sharon likes to hang out at her pool. She's beating the heat, doing stuff like that. How are you taking care of your body, with the Chiron in Taurus? That's very earthy energy. I know in Aries, Chiron was for the individual wounds as far as what we look like. Okay, but with Chiron in Taurus, it might be healing how we actually feel. Not just what we look like. I mean, anybody can look healthy on the outside. What's your heart doing? What are your lungs doing? What's your liver doing? Heart and lungs, chest space, Mercury retrograding in Cancer, is that going to bring up themes for us? Also, I'd like to invite you to get yourself a personal session. It's a lot of fun, and it is also a very good way for you to exercise your own intuition in your own life and receive confirmation for basically what you already knew. I always tell people, I'm if you get a session with me, chances are I'm not going to tell you anything you don't already know. I don't predict the future. I do read time, though, and I get a sense for the quality of the time that we're working with, and I get a sense of the quality of the time that's working with you on a personal level. So there's certain times, to everything there is a season. A time to reap, a time to sow. I forget what part of the Bible that's in. Warlanda would know that. Warlanda, what's that Bible verse? There's a time for all things. To everything there is a season. A time to reap, a time to sow. So that works on a personal level too. We all have our own timing, and there are certain parts of our natal chart that are strengths that we can reinforce even more at certain times. And then there's parts of our natal chart that might be working with the current energetic weather that we can pump the brakes and pull back on a little bit and understand that we might need to be more patient in certain aspects of our life, or more patient in certain aspects of our relationships or our money, right? So we got our jumper. Thank you for everybody that has taken advantage of my patriotic $250 sale. That was so much fun. I ran a flash sale of $25 an hour. So y'all better share, and subscribe, because then you can catch an EsperanzaVence private session, personal reading for yourself at a low price. Literally, who does that? I'm pretty sure the people at Fleet Farm are making $25 an hour, which Fleet Farm is a freaking awesome job, by the way, and I might get a job there. You know what I mean? I'm not opposed to it. But I'm just saying, as far as like, you know, studied skills, like I've been studying this for a really long time, like 30 years or so under my belt, a little bit more. Tarot, a little bit less, like tarot, maybe 20, 25 years. I gotta actually probably figure that out and put it on my website in a way that's more like I'm a boss, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not a boss, you know? I'm just a person that is here with my brothers and sisters, and whoever's attracted to my work is the right person to work with. You know what I mean? I don't make it easy. I don't make it easy. If you got attracted to this YouTube channel, trust me, it wasn't because the algorithm, okay? It's because like we would probably work well together. So anyway, we have Six of Swords reversed. So, you know, Six of Swords upright is a card of like moving on to calmer waters. They might not be better waters, but they're calmer, right? Like sometimes like life is more fun and exciting with a little bit of fire in it, right? But this air, Six of Swords, is usually moving us from chaos to something a little bit calmer. But with the Six of Swords reversed, that's just like out of the frying pan and into the fire. You know, here you go. You're always wishing for something else. And then when you get something else, you're like, oh crap, like I should have been more specific. I should have been more careful with my words as to what I wished for. Because I wished to be on a different shore. And now I'm like, oh crap, the shore I was on was like actually really awesome. So I always kind of get a little bit triggered when people are like, when's it going to change? When will things get better? Like, you know when things are going to get better is when you appreciate what the fuck you have. Okay? Like, for these people who are just like, I wish that the president would be dead. Like, that blows my mind. Like, who would even think or say that to wish anybody else like that? But whatever. People are nuts. But Six of Swords reversed, I think, gives us a real opportunity to be grateful for where we're actually at. And if we need to move on, and if we need to level up, and if we need for certain things to dissipate, then the first step is to sit still and thank God for the fact that you actually got here. And, you know, with Six of Swords, ooh, gosh, hello. This guy wanted to come in and talk at our reading. He like literally, he looks like an alien. Come here, guy. Show the people who you are. This little alien is confirming that, yeah, let's be happy where we're at. Because who knows, the next phase of the journey, the next place where we're going, the next train stop, the next spaceship stop, where this guy came from. What planet did you come from, guy? What planet did you come from? Maybe Mary the Grateful Gardener, who I work with. She mounts dead bugs, not live. Don't worry, she wouldn't mount you. You're alive. But she mounts like dead bugs, and she might know who this guy is. Is this the guy that keeps eating our crops? I thought that was one of those black and neon colored bugs, but it might be this guy. But anyway, this guy is trying to reinforce the fact that, like, let's be glad with what we have, and let's be glad with where we're at for now. Because even if we move on to calmer waters, like, calm could mean that they like plug your ass into a matrix situation. Why are you on me? Look at this guy. He's like crawling on my actual self. Like, I am not a bug person. You better go on this card and not bite me. I don't know who this motherfucker is, but he's trying to encourage us to lean into the Six of Swords energy and be accepting and happy for what we have right now, right here. All right, so we're gonna let this guy hang out over here because I don't really want bugs crawling on me. I'm not like entirely opposed to it, but it's not like my first choice. So let's pray and play for Quick Hits Tarot for today. Thank you for being here, and thank you for fine-tuning your free will and intuition with me. This is our buggy friend, and the Six of Swords reversed. Okay, 14th of July, 2026. Ooh, we have that Cancerian new moon coming in. Please stay tuned. You know I'm going to do a live stream. I just don't know when, because I'm going to have to, like, avoid all my aunts and uncles and everybody who's going to be around. We have Page of Wands reversed. Ooh, we have Four of Pentacles reversed. We had that, like, last week. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune upright. Oh, gosh, that's really good luck. Are you bringing the good luck, you little alien bug? Are you bringing us good luck? Well, thank you for showing up for our reading. Page of Wands reversed. Page of Wands is definitely that fire energy, that match that gets sparked. And then the page is like the one that brings the torch. Like, I'm getting a visual of during the Olympics when they light the torch and then the torch lights the next torch and so on. The Page of Wands is the one that brings their torch to the next guy, and then the next guy and so on. But with the Page of Wands reversed, like maybe the fire blew out. Maybe the fire is misdirected. Maybe the message didn't catch. Maybe Mercury retro things happened to where when we sent out a flirtation, it wasn't caught by the other person. Maybe this is like the beginnings of flirtations that are now pumping the brakes. Maybe we had a beginning of a flirtation that happened like a couple months ago, and now as Mercury is retrograding over Cancer, over our family, over our lineage, over like our memories of our childhood, maybe we're realizing some of the immediate reactions and passionate inclinations that we have that are just in our DNA that we could probably overcome. Inverted cards for me here at EsperanzaVence Tarot on YouTube.com is internal energy, stuff that we're invited to work on inside of ourselves. So we're invited to work on our vitality. We're invited to work on our own inner fire. We're invited to work on how we express ourselves to others in a flirtatious or passionate way. Four of Pentacles reversed encourages us to be less stingy. It encourages us to open up the flow in terms of finances. If we feel like our finances are stagnating, then donate to somebody else. Like, I literally just did this at the bar the other day. I gave as a tip this beautiful bicentennial 1976 silver dollar. I knew that it was worth more than $1, but I gave it as a tip, as a way of letting my finances open up. When you give a gift in earnest, and honestly, she gave it right to somebody else who needed it too. Like, I gave it to her, and then she literally within that minute turned around and hustled it to somebody else. Like, she pulled it up in her app and she was like, oh, this is worth whatever. And I think this silver dollar was worth like $2, and somebody gave her $5 for it. So sometimes, like, when you're less stingy with your resources, you can help somebody else out, like twofold, threefold. But if you're clinging too hard to your shekels, like your Ebenezer Scrooge, you might be visited by the ghost of Christmas past, you know? It is Christmas in July weather. Wheel of Fortune, look at this. So, like, if we rethink, like, our passions, our creativities, how we flirt with life, how we flirt with others, we become a little less stingy, we become more generous, then look, the Wheel of Fortune is coming in, and it looks like we're going to be on the top of the wheel and winning this round because we were able to be just more open to the flow. You know, you can't control the weather, you can't control what God's going to do. But you can also know that, like, luck is luck, and it comes and it goes. But you can do certain things on your time to encourage luck. Generosity encourages luck. Health encourages luck. Sunshine encourages luck. Water encourages luck. Clean water, not stagnant water. Vegetables encourage luck. Rice encourages luck. There are a lot of symbolic representations of luck and wealth and prosperity that do not cost money. Like, it does not cost you any money to let go of something that you've had sitting in your wallet for years. You know, I had that silver dollar coin thing sitting in my wallet. Somebody gave it to me, you know, and it was time to give it to somebody else. And now maybe my luck's going to roll in symbolically because of that ability to release. Okay? So that's what I have for us for the new moon in Cancer daily quick hits tarot reading. Be sure to check my shorts playlist because you know how I do. I'm not going to serve up no half cackamamie situation. I serve up the full dish plus chips. So this is the full dish. When you want your chips, go on over to my shorts playlist where I drop a daily oracle card every single day. And I also drop other shorts that are just fun little tidbits of life that you get to know me a little bit better as a person, so that you know who you are working with when you're strengthening your intuition with me. Fine-tuning your free will and intuition with me, as I like to say. All right, love ya. See you on the next one, God willing. Okay, so this morning, early in the morning, right around 4:43, let's just say 4:44 in the morning, Central Standard Time, we're having our new moon in the Cancerian zodiac. What does this mean? Especially with Mercury retrograde there, kind of stumbling around, rubbing his eyes from the fogginess of the dream, right? I'd say that this new moon is a lot about healing our upbringing, healing our family lineage, healing our home space, healing things that are close to home, you know, healing any sort of issues that we might have with love, with self-love, with tribalism, with feeling loyal to the tribe over the self. All of this is going to be getting healed as Regulus and the South Node are currently in a very tight conjunction. And there's a finger of God pointing towards Venus still here. I mean, she's at 5 degrees, but I think it's still in play here, I would say. Neptune and Pluto both pointing right at Venus, being like, okay, I have the highest dreams coming true, and says Neptune. And Pluto says, well, I have the power and all the connections. But Venus and Virgo, you know what you need to do? You need to be a nursemaid. You need to be of service. You know, we might call you in to do some dirty work and to look at some gross stuff so that you can put the right band-aids on it and heal. I think I will talk more about this moon later. Please stay shared, and subscribed because I always do a live stream for these moons. So who knows what time I'm going to go live. Stay tuned and it'll pop up on your screen when it's time. All right. Have a good one today. I'd say, like I said yesterday, maybe give it a week before we start, really putting that manifestation power out there. Let things settle in. Know that Mercury is the magician, and the magician's a little bit sleepy right now and walking kind of sideways. Mercury is in retrograde motion, so when you write things down, when you work with your hands, and when you work with moon magic, just keep that in mind. Love you. Oh, I also wanted to say that our new moon in Cancerian zodiac happens right around 4:44 in the morning, and immediately following, the moon goes void, of course, all day long until 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So pretty much the whole day is we're going to want to avoid very important things. Let's try not to get married today. Let's try not to sign super important contracts while that moon is void of course. Void of course moon is a great time to wrap things up, to do your chores, to keep your head down. But again, like the manifestation activities of the new moon should be close to your chest at this point, close to your heart. And then actually start writing, start planting some seeds in a few days coming up here, okay?